Hey everyone, it's Rita here. Hope you're having an awesome morning. I just read a small study that was done in, well, I didn't read the study. I read about a small study that was done in Japan about how lack in certain nutrition in your body, particularly B6 and iron, can play such a huge role in depression and anxiety and the way our brain functions. Now, I've been aware of this for quite a while, and particularly since coming into doTERRA, and I am passionate about emotions and essential oils and how you can use essential oils to help with changing that emotional, I guess the chemical reaction our brain has. Hey Mel, but one of the courses or the classes that I've done multiple times is actually by a amazing woman in America. Her name's Cherie Burton, and she is a psychologist. I think she's psychologist, not psychiatrist. One of them medicates and one doesn't. I don't know the difference, and I don't know which one she is. Anyway, so she's put together this class that's called Emotions and Essential Oils, and it talks about the connection that we have. There's actual neural pathways that are now being discovered that are in your heart, like your actual heart, and your gut and your brain. Okay, and what happens is when we're not getting the right nutrition, hey Christine, when we're not getting the right nutrition, our body doesn't function the way it's supposed to, okay? And there's certain nutrition that is actually needed for our brain to function properly. And when we're not getting that right nutrition, we're going to have things like feeling more anxious than we need to. We might feel really sad. You can have all sorts of issues like panic. It was also covering panic attacks and how if you don't have the right nutrition, that is going to be something that is going to be more common for you. There is a link between brain, heart, and gut, okay? And the key foundation that you need is good nutrition. Now, I'm not sure if you're aware of this. This is something that I have known for a long time, 10, 15 years or so, probably more than that. Our soil is actually depleted in nutrition. So you can eat a really lovely organic diet. If you're not eating that, and it's just and a lot of organic farms actually rotate their crops, and they do it in the right way to rest the soil, and they will often grow, I don't know what the actual plants are, but maybe clover or certain things that they allow just to grow, and then they churn it back into the soil to put the nutrition back into the soil, and they rest those fields. They'll often have animals that'll come through, so they'll rotate that one season it will be crops, the next season it might be cows that go through, the next season it might be chickens that go through, whatever it is, and they're all adding back good stuff into the soil. This is not common in conventional farming. Okay, conventional crops and everything that we get, it's depleting the soil. We just don't have the nutrition that we need in our food. So if you are struggling with emotional and, let's say, mental illness and things like that, look at your diet. Look at if your gut's not actually functioning the way it's supposed to. So gut health, you'll hear that's like the new it thing is gut health. This is not new. This is not new. Knowing that our gut needs to function in the way it should and allows our body to absorb the nutrition that it needs is key. It's a foundation to making sure that you function properly. So when I used to teach nutrition courses to in my previous business about dog and cat nutrition, I would explain that inside the lining of our stomach, there's they're called villi, and they stand up like this, and they've got a huge surface area. Okay, so when you have things that affect the villi, so things like steroids and certain medications and sometimes stress, there's all these kind of things, damage if you are, let's say you're a celiac or you're gluten intolerant or you have issues with dairy, that's going to affect your villi. And what happens is they actually lay down flat. And so all the nutrition actually passes straight past there, and you're not absorbing it into your system. So when people are talking about gut health, it's not actually a fad. It's not something that's just come around. It's been known for a long time that if your body is not absorbing the nutrition, it's not going to be at optimal function, okay? So what can you do about that? Make sure that you are taking a proper nutritional supplement. Where you can, try and eat organic. It's hard sometimes. Like, we try and eat organic as much as we can because I know that this is a great foundation of removing the pesticides in there that affect your hormones, all these kind of things. It actually affects so much, okay? So it's not just the pesticides for putting it in your gut. There's so many other things that go along for it. So look at a really good nutritional diet when you can. Life happens. Doesn't mean I never go out and have fish and chips or stuff like that. I know that happens. Look at, there's actually a few key things to make sure that your nutrition and your body is actually absorbing the nutrition that it needs, okay? So a good diet is first, making sure that you've got a good nutritional supplement, and these are doTERRA's ones, so the Lifelong Vitality Pack. The amount of people who ask me, I'm struggling with a lot of mental issues at the moment, I'm feeling really sad, I'm getting really anxious, I have panic attacks and all that. This is the first thing that I tell them to do. This is key. And the amount of people who have found a change in that, and I know my moods and emotions have really stabilized, and anytime that I miss them, that becomes, it really does play with me, okay? The other thing to remember is when you are actually eating, the food that we're eating needs to be absorbed by our body. It needs to be broken down. So we need digestive enzymes in our system. And a lot of the time we eat food, like we go and have a steak, or we go and eat a whole stack of bread, or whatever it is. Our body gets digestive enzymes from raw foods. So lots of your green leafies and all that kind of stuff. So salads and all that. Raw. It's ideal. But we're still, as we get older, we actually lose digestive enzyme ability in our body. Okay, so I think it's once you get to 18 or 20 or something, it starts to decrease. And as you're getting older, the digestive enzymes that are coming in to break down that food, so the digestive enzymes break down the food into a substance that the body can absorb. And if it's not being broken down and being able to absorb by your body, it's either blocking and being gross in there, or it's passing straight through and you're not getting the nutrition that you need, so you then have nutritional deficiencies. So having a digestive enzyme, and I was never using these, I didn't understand why they were so important. Now I do. Now I understand that I need to help my body to digest, and as I'm getting older, I'm 40 next year, and if I'm not careful, my body is going to get nutritionally deficient because it's not able to break down the food that it needs to get the nutrition from. So a digestive enzyme, and doTERRA has Terrazyme for that, and I would recommend that you have that after every single meal. If you're having something that is harder to digest, so think a steak or lots of bread, like what I talked about, pasta, you know, when you eat these things and you have that food coma, you get really tired, it's because your body is drawing metabolic enzymes from other parts of your body to get your body to digest that food. So it's using what digestive enzymes you have, but drawing from other parts of your body to help break down that food, because it is the most important thing for survival is nutrition. Nutrition and water. You need to drink a lot of water as well. That's another thing too. Make sure your fluid intake is good, and water is important because your brain is like, I don't know the figure, I think it's like 90% water or 80% water. And so if you're dehydrated, your brain's not going to function properly as well. So getting that nutrition in there is imperative. And then looking at making sure you've got a probiotic. So a probiotic, there's different probiotics out there. There's all sorts of probiotics. doTERRA has one that actually has it's a double-celled capsule. So it has prebiotics that will actually start to get into your stomach, so the upper part of your digestive system. And then you've got probiotics, which we need to get into our gut. They need to be in there, and that's what actually helps those little villi that I talked about before that fall down and have no ability to absorb what we need to, helps them to stand up again. Those good bacteria are in there. You've seen those little, what is it, Yakult, which is full of sugar, by the way, Yakult, and all those where they've got those little army men coming in and helping to fight off bad bacteria and all that. They're in there working and getting that digestive system to be working properly. So you can do other things like some of the fad things around, like kombucha. Kombucha, so I'm 40, nearly 40. My parents were making kombucha 30 years ago when I was at home. So it's not something that's new, and they knew about, it's been around for a very long time. There's kefir water, there's yogurt, good yogurt, don't get ones that are full of sugar. There's so many things that you can start to do. The fermentation, sauerkraut, I actually love having sauerkraut with my salads, and that's a way that I get some of that good bacteria in that fermented food to help my body function properly. So I'm in a much better place than I used to be because I wasn't having this foundation. I was like, yeah, I'm just eating my organic food where I can, but then I'll go and eat a pizza at night time, or and there's nothing wrong with eating other stuff. Don't try and be Superwoman or Wonder Woman. You know, my post yesterday that, I have to do everything right all the time. That's the wrong kind of Superwoman, Wonder Woman. What we're doing is we're finding what's right for us. And sometimes that means we're going out and we're having pizza for dinner. Yum, that's awesome, because that's right for you in that moment, and that's good. So what do? We look at the 80% of our lifestyle, how we can help to support the best nutrition that we can. And so things like doTERRA's Lifelong Vitality Pack, I would love it if everyone got on it and gave it a try. 30 days. If you do struggle with mental and emotional stresses and things that come up for you, give yourself at least 3 months, because our body goes through a whole process where it regenerates and changes over everything in a 90-day process. And if you just try things for a couple of weeks and go, I didn't notice anything, you haven't given your body the right the right opportunity to do what it needs to do. Our body is created amazingly to function in a way that is phenomenal, okay? So when we understand how it works, we can get to that place of homeostasis where things are in balance most of the time. And when things come along that stress us, we might go up and down like this, but if we have this foundation, we come back to this place rather than being like this all the time and such extreme differences. So this study that's come out of Japan, and I'll put the link in the video after I've finished so you can go and check it. They did it with, I think it was 21 different people, and they looked at the nutrition and all that kind of stuff. And the main thing was depression, anxiety, and panic attacks were the main things that they came up with. This is probably one of the top things people ask me about, how essential oils can help them. And we can use essential oils to help in those situations when we're feeling emotionally just not with it. But how about we look at the foundation and keeping ourselves more balanced and living in homeostasis, so that when those triggers do come, we're much better prepared to be able to support ourselves with that. So yes, we can use our oils, but try not to look at them as a band-aid solution. What can we do to get down to the foundation and make simple changes that have big results? That's my thing. I want you guys to take little simple steps that are going to change your life. And I don't want to go back to what I used to have before. I don't want to live in that place where I was dictated to by my mind and my emotions and how I feel. Sometimes it still happens. Like I had a crappy weekend. But I didn't wallow for a long time, and I was actually able to come out of that a lot quicker. So when we have this foundation, that is going to be the key for you moving forward and getting this nutrition into your body. It feeds every part of your cells. Okay, so don't be hard on yourself if you eat a crappy diet. Start to make one change. So if you don't drink enough water, make that your focus, that every day I'm going to start drinking 2 full glasses of water. If that's more than what you're doing now, that's awesome. If you're not eating any raw salady type of stuff, maybe one day a week, you choose a lunchtime, and that's what I have for my lunch. And you start to make these little things that are achievable for you, so that your body starts to respond and you start to see a positive. If you go in and go, right, I'm going to do everything all at once, if you're anything like me, you'll get overwhelmed. You might try it for a day or two and then give up, because it's just too hard, because you've got this programming in your body that says, that's not how I do it, that's uncomfortable, we're not going to do that anymore. So start to make little changes and make sure that you reward yourself in that. That doesn't have to be, I ate a salad, cool, I'm going to eat a chocolate bar. How about you just say, you know what, that's so cool, I haven't had a salad in a month. That's so cool, well done, pat on the back. Look at ways to encourage yourself rather than looking at the lack or the deficit that you see in your life that no one else is even noticing. Start being kind to yourself, and that's also going to help this mental battle that we have in our head as well. So I was really excited when I saw this, because it's just one other thing that now has scientific research behind it that we have actually known for. There's actually a lot of research about the connection between the head, the heart, and the gut. So it's good that this is kind of getting a bit more mainstream, and people will understand that if we have the right nutrition, it is foundational. It's foundational, and it will change things for you. So I just wanted to share that. Went way longer than I intended, but I hope that it helps someone and sees that there is actually hope, that you don't have to live in this. And I will say something else. If you are taking supplements elsewhere and you're not finding a result, question maybe what those supplements are, because a lot of them are not bioavailable, and that means that our body is not able to actually benefit from absorbing that nutrition. That's the difference with doTERRA's Lifelong Vitality, is they're bioavailable. The minerals in there are not taken from crushed rock, which can be in some of the supplements out there. You'd get as much nutrition sucking on a brick. Okay, if you get fluorescent wee when you take certain supplements, it's because your body is not absorbing it and it's weeing that out, and you're basically flushing your money down the toilet and it's doing nothing. In fact, it can be detrimental to your health, and you can take too many supplements. Okay, I'm not an expert in all this. I have done my research for myself, and I know that there can be impacts on your liver, your kidneys, your detox organs. It can start to come out in your skin. There's all sorts of things. It's a foundation. Okay, so look into doTERRA's Lifelong Vitality Pack. They are TGA approved, and they have a 4-page list of things, the claims on these supplements, and they are amazing. Start putting yourself first, and not just having to live with just going, this is just normal for me. You can make that change. So I'm going to go. Bye.